20 tips for effective communication. Tip number 1. Know the power of communication. You can only communicate effectively when you know the power of communication. Communication is important for effective leadership because it impacts and inspires. Tip number 2. Master the art of communication. The best way to master the art of communication is to watch real-life examples of leaders who can effectively communicate. Tip number 3. Make a leadership philosophy. Make your own leadership story and connect the narrative to the audience. Tip number 4. Use tone and pacing. These are part of verbal dynamics and can be used to tell your story. Make sure to always have the right tone and pace the story as needed. Tip number 5. Convey your message. The best way to convey your message is to ensure by emphasizing the things that matter so that the audience pays attention to the most important things. Tip number 6. Use nonverbals. Know the significance of body language. Make sure you can communicate with just your body. Tip number 7. Display confidence. Your posture and gestures can show your confidence and also tell the audience that you are an authority figure. Project confidence with your body. Tip number 8. Know how to navigate challenging conversations. Address conflicts with the right strategies and ensure you know how to manage difficult conversations. Tip number 9. Maintain your composure when you're under pressure. Make sure you keep your composure and manage your emotions appropriately. Tip number 10. Inspire the audience. Always inspire your audience, whether it be with a story or a vision for the future. Make sure they leave with confidence and inspiration. Tip number 11. Use metaphors. Make your speech captivating by using stories, metaphors, and imagery to draw the audience into what you are saying. Tip number 12. Adapt your communication. Not every audience is the same and you need to make sure you are adapting your communication to fit who you are talking to. Tip number 13. Cross-cultural communication. You need to make sure you know how to communicate cross-culturally when you are talking to global leaders or those from different cultures and places. Tip number 14. Resolve conflicts. Whether it's a speech or talking to someone in the workplace, leaders resolve conflicts. They do not create them. Tip number 15. Use facts and stories. Use your stories to make things more compelling but also concentrate on facts. Tip number 16. Ask for feedback. Ask for tips and feedback on your speeches and communication from other leaders to see what they suggest. Tip number 17. Change your tone. Change your tone throughout the speech to fit the topic you are speaking about. Tip number 18. Avoid filler words. Make your message strong and simple. Don't use filler words or overcomplicated sentences. Never use 10 words when one word is enough to show the message. Tip number 19. Involve the audience. When possible and appropriate, ask the audience to participate. This might be necessary all the time, but it can engage people more for certain topics. Tip number 20. Pay attention to the audience. If the audience is not responding the way you want them to, be willing to adapt the message or change your delivery.